Australia's second biggest city, Melbourne, is continuing to grow with a number of high-profile, multi-billion-dollar developments spearheading the city's economic recovery. Despite the city suffering through a world record lockdown, Melbourne's growing build-to-rent pipeline is now nearly double Sydney's and quadruple Brisbane's, while high-end residential developments and a number of high-profile commercial projects across the city continue to come out of the ground. Melbourne Square. Malaysia's OSK property has topped out the first two buildings at its $2.8 billion precinct in SOUTHBANK. The project, on a former car park site at 93-119 Kavanagh Street, is the city's largest mixed-use development. Future stages will include a 29-floor office tower, a 600-room hotel operated by Hilton, due to open in 2022, and further residential towers. Address: 93-119 Kavanagh Street, SOUTHBANK, Victoria 3006. Developer: OSK Property. Architect: Cox Architecture. Building type: residential, 2,600 apartments. Hotel: 687 guest rooms. Commercial: 37,000 square meters. Height: Residential Tower 1, 231 meters. Residential Tower 2, 179 meters. Residential Towers 3 and 4, 175 meters. Hotel, 180 meters. Commercial, 145 meters. Gross development value, $2.8 billion. Status: under construction. Estimated completion, 2027. SOUTHBANK by BEULAH. Malaysian-backed developer BEULAH has been granted approval to build Australia's tallest tower as part of a $2 billion redevelopment of the BMW site in SOUTHBANK. The 270,000 square meter mixed-use precinct, dubbed SOUTHBANK by BEULAH, will comprise 27,000 square meters of office space, 21,000 square meters of retail, as well as almost 9,500 square meters in food and drinks premises, a 202-key hotel, and 789 dwellings. Address: 60 SOUTHBANK Boulevard, SOUTHBANK, Victoria 3006. Developer: BEULAH. Architect: UN Studio, Cox Architecture. Building type: commercial, 27,000 square meters. Retail, 21,000 square meters. Dining, 9,500 square meters. Hotel, 202 guest rooms. And residential, 789 apartments. Height: 102 stories, 366 meters. 59 stories, 251 meters. Gross development value, $2 billion. Status: approved. Estimated completion, 2027. Jam Factory. Newmark Capital, Gurner and Qualitas are submitting $1.5 billion updated plans to convert Melbourne's Jam Factory into a mixed-use precinct. 4 residential towers with 400 apartments, a hotel with 180 keys, a 1,700 square meter plaza and amphitheater, 3 levels of retail and entertainment, including a cinema, as well as 22,500 square meters of commercial space would be added to the site. Address: 500 Chapel Street, South Yarra, Victoria 3141. Developer: Gurner. Architect: Bates Smart. Building type: residential, 400 apartments. Hotel, 180 guest rooms. Commercial, 22,500 square meters. Height: 13 stories, 42.9 meters. Gross development value, $1.5 billion. Status: planning. Estimated completion, 2025. 555 Collins Street. Charter Hall's office development is being built across an amalgamated site including 55 King Street, a site it has owned since 2016, and 555 Collins Street, which it acquired in October 2018 in a $140 million deal. The premium office tower, opposite the Rialto Towers and a block from the Southern Cross Station, is being built in 2 stages, the first of which will see 35 levels of office space. Address: 555 Collins Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: Charter Hall. Architect: Gensler, Cox Architects. Building type: commercial, 84,000 square meters. Height: 35 stories, 115.5 meters. Gross development value: $1.5 billion. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2023, Stage 1. 19 YARRA Street. U.S. property giant Greystar has been given the green light to build a $500 million dual-tower build-to-rent project on a super site in Melbourne's affluent suburb of South Yarra. The development is one of 2 seed projects in the Greystar Australia Multi-Family Venture 1 Fund, which has ambitions to house 5,000 or more dwellings. Address: 14 to 19 Yarra Street, South Yarra, Victoria 3141. Developer: Greystar. Architect: Fender Katsalidis. Building type: residential, 625 apartments. Height: 30 stories, 115.5 meters, 21 stories. Gross development value: $500 million. Status: approved. Estimated completion: unknown. Seafarers. The development of the SOUTHBANK wharf site, controlled by private developer Riverlea, forms a crucial link between the docklands regeneration on one side of Wurundjeri and on the other, the last wedge of commercial space along the Yarra River. The project, to be known as Seafarers, has approval for a 5-star hotel with 280 rooms, 150 apartments, and a 1,000-seat function center, which will occupy part of the old goods shed number 5. Address: 731 Finder Street, Docklands, Victoria 3008. Developer: Riverlea. Architect: Fender Katsalidis. Building type: hotel, 280 guest rooms. Residential, 123 apartments. Height: 17 stories, 56 meters. Gross development value: $500 million. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2024. 600 Lonsdale Street. Situated on a prominent corner in Melbourne's legal precinct, the 42-story building will comprise 24,400 square meters of A-grade office space, a 280-key boutique hotel, amenities, and retail space. V-Leaders secured the existing 600 Lonsdale building in May 2018 after 15 strata owners sold their share in the building for $48 million. A total of $52 million was paid for the Lonsdale Court building after the final strata owner moved to sell a year later. Address: 600 Lonsdale Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: V-Leader. Architect: Skidmore, Owings & Merrill, Fender Katsalidis. Building type: commercial, 24,400 square meters. Hotel, 280 guest rooms. Height: 42 stories, 138 meters. Gross development value: $500 million. Status: approved. Estimated completion: unknown. Westside Place. Hong Kong-listed developer Far East Consortium is pressing ahead with 2 towers in the developer's Westside Place project at 250 Spencer Street on the former The Age site. Once complete, the project will comprise 1,376 apartments and 257 luxury hotel suites, with Stage 1 anticipated for completion in 2021. Address: 250 Spencer Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: Far East Consortium. Architect: Conti Parker Architects. Building type: residential, 1,376 apartments. Hotel, 257 guest rooms. Height: 81 stories, 281 meters, 64 stories, 221 meters. Gross development value: $1 billion. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2022. St. Moritz. The waterfront project, being delivered by Gurner, kicked off after securing a $300 million senior debt facility from ANZ in 2019. The project's penthouse apartment, which sold for $30 million, will be spread over 2 levels and includes 7 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a 10-car garage, cigar room, wine cellar, and 2-story water feature. Address: 14 to 16 The Esplanade, St. Kilda, Victoria 3182. Developer: Gurner. Architect: Fender Katsalidis, Koichi Takada Architects. Building type: residential, 120 apartments. Height: 8 stories, 26 meters. Gross development value: $540 million. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2022. 383 La Trobe Street. Mirvac will break ground on a new A-grade office tower in central Melbourne after securing planning approval for the site it bought for $122 million in late 2018. The development is in Melbourne CBD's legal precinct and close to Flagstaff train station. It will replace a 7-level B-grade office building. Address: 383 La Trobe Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: Mirvac. Architect: Cox Architecture. Building type: commercial, 44,000 square meters. Height: 31 stories, 102.3 meters. Gross development value: unknown. Status: approved. Estimated completion: 2025. Box Hill Town Square. Vicinity Centres has plans to build a $1 billion precinct over 2 large landholdings in Box Hill, including an office tower, hotel, new town square, and 1,900 apartments. The first 3 applications, worth $683 million, were lodged mid-2020 as part of the larger 250,000 square meter mixed-use development across 7 sites. Address: 1 Main Street, Box Hill, Victoria, 3128. Developer: Vicinity Centres. Architect: Bates Smart. Building type: residential, 366 apartments. Commercial: 42,000 square meters. Height: 48 stories, 158 meters. 25 stories, 82.5 meters. Gross development value: $1 billion. Status: planning. Estimated completion: unknown. 435 Bourke Street. The 60,000 square meter office tower will reach 48 stories and will straddle 4 addresses around the corner of Bourke and Queen Streets and will be known as 435 Bourke Street. The development, which is anticipated to serve as a vertical village for more than 5,500 city workers, is targeting a 6-star Green Star rating, 5.5-star Neighbors Energy rating, and a Platinum WELL rating, and will include a 4-level wellness hub. Address: 435 Bourke Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: Cebus Property. Architect: Bates Smart. Building type: commercial, 58,000 square meters. Height: 55 stories, 181 meters. Gross development value: $1 billion. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2023. The Civic. Mirvac's $1 billion plans for a 45,000 square meter office tower and build-to-rent apartments on Melbourne's North Bank have been approved with construction slated for later this year. The development site at 7 Spencer Street will include a 20-story office tower and a second tower housing 472 apartments across 32 levels, designed exclusively for renters. Address: 723 Spencer Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: Mirvac. Architect: Fender Katsalidis. Building type: residential, 472 apartments. Commercial: 45,000 square meters. Height: 32 stories, 105.6 meters. 20 stories, 66 meters. Gross development value: $1 billion. Status: approved. Estimated completion: 2025. Pentridge Prison. Shaher Group is moving forward on its $1 billion retail and residential transformation of the heritage-listed Pentridge Prison in Melbourne's inner north. The first stage of the shopping centre and apartment project is scheduled to open at the end of the year and includes a 15-screen cinema, more than 20 specialty stores, and 500 underground car park spaces. Address: 15 Urquhart Street, Coburg, Victoria 3058. Developer: Shaher Group. Architect: Cox Architecture. Building type: hotel, 120 guest rooms. Residential: 1,500 apartments. Retail: 6,000 square meters. Commercial. Height: 19 stories hotel, 8 stories commercial. Gross development value: $1 billion. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2025. 587 Church Street. Goldfields Group has won permission for its controversial 12-story, 198 hotel room development on the site of the former Matt Blatt showroom at Richmond. The proposal for the 1,700 square meter site at 587-593 Church Street was referred to the Victorian Civil and Administrative Tribunal for determination after the Yarra City Council failed to make a decision during the statutory period. Address: 587-593 Church Street, Richmond, Victoria 3121. Developer: Goldfields Group. Architect: Cox Architecture. Building type: hotel, 198 guest rooms. Height: 12 stories, 39.6 meters. Gross development value: $300 million. Status: approved. Estimated completion: unknown. Queen's Place. Chinese-backed developer 3L Alliance is well underway with the construction of its $1 billion plus Twin Tower project at the edge of Flagstaff Hill. Construction commenced in late 2018 to be delivered in 2 stages. The first is the tower to the north of the site, which will then be followed by the southern tower. Address: 350 Queen Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: 3L Alliance. Architect: Cox Architecture, Fender Katsalidis. Building type, residential, 1,800 apartments. Height, 79 stories, 251 meters. 79 stories, 249.9 meters. Gross development value, $1 billion. Status, under construction. Estimated completion, 2021. Aspire Melbourne. ICD Property Group is developing its 65-story high-rise residential tower at 299 King Street with joint venture partner financier MaxCap, which has both debt and equity positions on the project. The 594-apartment development, ICD's second central city residential development in Melbourne, is located opposite Flagstaff Gardens on King Street. Address: 299 King Street, CBD, Victoria 3000. Developer: ICD Property Group. Architect: Ellenberg Fraser. Building type: residential, 594 apartments. Height: 65 stories, 211 meters. Gross development value: $440 million. Status: under construction. Estimated completion: 2023. The MALT District. Caden secured heritage approval for its development of the Nilex site in March 2017 after a 2-year battle with Heritage Victoria. The 1.4-hectare Cremorne site in inner-city Melbourne was originally planned to be a residential precinct with up to 1,000 apartments, but will now have just one 200-unit apartment building alongside 2 office towers, a hotel, and a mix of retail and office suites. Address: 154 Cremorne Street, Cremorne, Victoria 3121. Developer: Caden Property Group. Architect: Lovell Chen. Building type: residential, 200 apartments. Commercial, 15,373 square meters. Hotel, 206 guest rooms. Height, 15 stories, 12 stories, 12 stories. Gross development value, $1 billion. Status, under construction. Estimated completion, unknown. APH City Park. Privately owned asset management and investment company APH Holding has secured a permit for the first stage of its $1 billion mixed-use business park in Forest Hill in Melbourne's eastern suburbs. The first stage of APH's planned mini-city comprises twin 6-level A-grade office towers with large floor plates joined by a light-filled atrium. Address: 353 Burwood Highway, Forest Hill, Victoria 3131. Developer: APH Holding. Architect: unknown. Building type: commercial, 36,000 square meters. Height: 6 stories, 19.7 meters. Gross development value: $1 billion. Status: approved, first stage. Estimated completion: unknown. 28 Montague Street. After a 3-year planning process, the 10,000 square meter island site was approved in Victoria's latest tranche of shovel-ready projects. The site at 228 Montague Street will become a multi-tower mixed-use precinct designed by Cox Architecture and comprise of 700 residences and hotel rooms, 24 affordable housing units, 14,500 square meters of commercial space, and 5,700 square meters of retail. Address: 228 Montague Street, South Melbourne, Victoria 3205. Developer: Gurner. Architect: Cox Architecture. Building type: residential/hotel, 700 apartments and guest rooms. Commercial, 14,500 square meters. Retail, 5,700 square meters. Height, 34 stories, 112 meters. 28 stories, 92 meters. 26 stories, 85.8 meters. Gross development value, $1 billion. Status: approved. Estimated completion unknown. Melbourne's skyline is increasingly crowded, with 60 skyscrapers already built, but between location, luxury, and a truly spectacular flourish, the new buildings will certainly stand out.